everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel Green Minimalist Life. Today I would like to give you an overview of a good alternative to plastic wrap or aluminium foil, namely beeswax cloth. We use plastic wrap and aluminium foil to store food and make it last longer. The problem, however, is that they are disposable products, so after we use it every time we throw it away. This is of course bad for the environment and a lot of waste is produced. A beeswax cloth is a good alternative and I will tell you in the following why it is. So first things first, what is beeswax cloth? Beeswax cloth is made of cotton, hemp or linen fabric impregnated with a mixture of beeswax, jojoba oil and mostly tree resin. Beeswax cloth consists largely of mycene, which is a mixture of around 300 different substances, including propolis. Propolis is also responsible for the antibacterial properties of beeswax cloth, which makes them suitable to store food. Propolis is a waxy substance produced by bees to seal the hive. The germ-inhibiting effect is further enhanced by the tree resin. Tree resin comes from the bark of trees and also contains antibacterial and fungicidal components. Jojoba oil ensures that they do not become brittle. So what do I use beeswax cloth for? Beeswax cloth can be used to store food to make it last longer, similar to the conventional plastic wrap or aluminium foil. You can either place it over a baking dish, can, bowl or similar. You simply have to fold over the sides and press it tightly around it. Moreover, you can use the cloth to cover food directly, for instance when you want to cover bread, sandwiches, fruit, cheese and so on. After every usage, the cloth should be washed under cold water and dried properly, but I will tell you more about it later on. But there's one important thing on that note. Since beeswax cloth cannot be washed under warm water, germs cannot be killed when cleaning it. That's why it is important that you do not cover food with beeswax cloth that it's problematic with raw meat or fish. In case your food should become moldy under the beeswax cover, the cloth must be thrown away as it cannot be sufficiently cleaned of spores and toxins. It is equally important not to cover food that is still hot, as these could also cause the wax to melt. Instead, it is advisable to let warm products cool down first and then cover them. As you can see here in the video, I mostly use the beeswax cloth for covering bread to make it last longer or to cover fruits. This way I can make the food last longer and I also save some aluminium foil and plastic wrap, which is bad. So what should you consider when buying beeswax cloth? So when you want to buy beeswax cloth, you should pay attention to its origin first and also if it has an organic certificate. A reliable organic seal ensures that the wax is not contaminated with harmful substances, such as herbicides, insecticides, or certain fertilizers. Ideally, the cloth should come from your local area, wherever it is. For me, in this case, I will look for options in Germany or in neighboring countries in Europe. Yet, not all beeswax cloths have the same quality. There are certain things you should pay attention to also. The German consumer organization Stiftung Warentest already mentioned that impregnation aids like jojoba oil of the wipes could be transferred to food. Jojoba wax is stored in intestinal cells and the liver. This of course can be problematic. Stiftung Warentest furthermore criticizes that beeswax is permitted as an additive, but fatty foods in particular can absorb a lot of it. This is critical if the wax is contaminated with harmful substances. Germs can also then become a problem. So if you're not quite sure whether the beeswax you're using is safe, it's better to ask the manufacturer. The consumer organization recommends further that you should buy unprinted and undyed cotton, preferably GOTS certified. Also, the beeswax should be organic and no wax should be based on mineral oil. In case of the jojoba oil, well, I would assume that there's still not sufficient data, but still, if you have any concerns, there are also beeswax that do not have any jojoba oil contained. So as already mentioned, now I'm going to tell you how to wash the beeswax cloths. First, pay attention to the cold temperature of the water. As already mentioned, beeswax cloths should be washed under cold water. Never wash the cloths under hot temperature. Otherwise, the wax layer melts and wears off, so the effect of the cloth is lost more quickly. Therefore, it is not suitable for wrapping raw meat and fish. When washing it under cold water, it cannot be ruled out that the bacteria such as salmonella are still present on the beeswax cloths. Also, in case there is dirt on your cloths, you can use a mild alcohol-free cleaning agent in organic quality to remove the dirt. If necessary, you can also use the soft side of a dishwashing wash or lightly wipe a kitchen towel. However, avoid dishwashing brushes with hard bristles. These can damage the wax layer. Second, in case you have mold on your beeswax cloths, I would strongly advise you not to use the cloths anymore, since you cannot be sure whether you completely remove the mold. Since you cannot use the cloth anymore, you can use it for the following use cases. Cut the cloth into thin stripes and use them as a lighting aid for fireplaces, stove, or the grill. If you have no use case for the cloth as a lighting aid, simply dispose them or compose it in an organic waste. Third, how you can dry the cloth after washing it. So, to completely dry beeswax cloths after cleaning, you have several options. Either gently pat them dry with a towel, or dry them by spreading them out on a dish towel and waiting some time at room temperature. In this video, I will demonstrate how I wash my beeswax cloths. First things first, just check whether the water is cold enough. If so, start to wash your beeswax cloths. If you spot any dirt, just take a dishwashing sponge and take the soft side and try to gently scrub off the dirt. Just make sure that you wash every little bit of the cloth. You can also use one hand just to support the cloth and the other hand to rub the dirt off, as you can see in this video. After you wash the cloth, just make sure that you rinse off the rest of the water and put the cloth to dry it out. There are also some advices how to make your cloth last longer. First, lay out a piece of baking paper on the baking tray and place your cloth on it. Heat the cloth for a few minutes to 70 to 80 degrees Celsius until the wax layer is evenly distributed on the cloth. Also, you can spread some new beeswax on the cloth before heating. Let the new wax melt and soak in the oven. Spread it evenly on the cloth with a brush where the wax is still liquid. Finally, let the beeswax cloth cool down. So to sum it up, beeswax cloth is a good sustainable alternative to aluminium foil and plastic wrap. There are many use cases to cover food. For example, fruits, bread, sandwiches, and so on. Also, when buying beeswax cloth, pay attention to its organic certificate and its origin. The more local, the better. Also, as already mentioned, wash your cloth after every usage and wash it correctly, as already demonstrated here in this video. And lastly, you can make your cloth last longer, especially by adding a new waxing layer. For this, follow the instruction that I mentioned by the end of my video. Do you think beeswax cloth is a good alternative? If so, let me also know what beeswax cloths you use. So I hope you really enjoyed watching today's video. If you want to receive more updates on sustainability topics, don't forget to subscribe my channel.